2024 was an unspectacular yet solid year for gaming. Sony and Microsoft didn't really have a lot in their pipelines, and Nintendo was winding down the Switch. I actually didn't play a lot of new games this year at all. I was finishing up Tears of the Kingdom and Pikmin 4, I played a lot of older GameCube games, and I spent a surprising amount of time digging into Minecraft. However, there were some gems and surprises from 2024 all the same, and I never could have predicted this being my list. So without further ado, here are my top 6 games I played from 2024.
Number 6. Helldivers 2.
I came very late to Helldivers 2 because I didn't have a PS5 until the summer, but I immediately understood what the hype was about. This game is action-packed, intense, it can be funny, it can be scary, it can feel overwhelming, but also make you feel like a total badass. It's a unique multiplayer experience, and I've had a lot of fun co-op moments with my friends and my brother.
Number 5. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
Prince of Persia and the Lost Crown is a really good Metroidvania game, with its own angle on platforming and action. Traversal and fighting feels especially good, and exploring, finding secrets, and taking down bosses is always satisfying. Don't miss Prince of Persia.
Number 4. Call of Duty: Black Ops 6.
I've never really gotten too into a Call of Duty game before, and because this was on Game Pass, I decided to give it a go. I was really impressed not only by the presentation, controls, and game feel, but there is a staggering amount of content here with fun modes, zombies, and a very polished single player. I had a lot of fun playing with friends online, and I feel like I've only scratched the surface with the modes and options and campaign.
Number 3. Astrobot.
I love 3D platformers, and Astrobot is one of the best ones I've ever played. In many ways, I called this game Mario Galaxy 3, because it constantly dishes out new ideas and environments. The graphics are incredible, the music is awesome, the controls are tight, it's just bursting with creativity. This is one of the high-tier 3D platformers of our time. Astrobot is not a game to be missed.
Number 2. Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom.
I'm a big Zelda fan, so I was surprised when they announced a new top-down Zelda was on its way to the Switch in its final year. I played a lot of Zelda in my life, and I gotta say, one of the most refreshing things about Echoes of Wisdom is how it still makes you think differently than any other Zelda game, using the magic copy ability, which lets you play with creativity and solve situations in different ways. I love the characters and the story, which is bite-sized yet packs emotion. I love the world design and the open ways to traverse it. I love how with Echoes of Wisdom, Nintendo attempted something completely new, and Nintendo didn't disappoint.
Number 1. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
There was a moment early on in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle where this big tough enemy was approaching me, and just like in the movie Raiders of the Lost Ark, I didn't feel like fistfighting, so I got my gun out and I shot him. And it worked, and that ended the fight. It was then that I knew I was playing something really awesome. I really never expected to love this game as much as I did. I thought the trailers made it look kind of bad, and I wasn't super thrilled about the first person to third person switching view. I think it's probably a hard game to showcase why it's so special, as it's really an open-ended adventure game rather than some bombastic set-piece driven first-person shooter. But the game is just so dense with things to do and see, with a perfect balance between exploring caves and temples, fighting, stealth, story, and the story and voice acting and characters are really good too. Troy Baker did a surprisingly amazing job as Harrison Ford. I'll go as far as saying this is the best we've seen of Indiana Jones since the original trilogy. It gave me this warm feeling of being at home, especially after 2 seriously disappointing movies over the last few decades. I'll also go as far as saying this is the best video game based on a movie since, well, maybe ever. It's so incredibly true to the films and the IP, and you really feel like you're Indiana Jones. The game also has stunningly detailed and varied environments to explore. It's one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen. This game is far and away my game of the year for 2024. You've got to play it, Don't sleep on this game. It's such a fun adventure game.